make sure. Yeah, volume. I adjust this stuff all the time, so sometimes I gotta mess with it when I'm switching back. Hello! Good evening. So I think it's time to tackle a subject that is one of my biggest pet peeves ever on the internet. But only because it's finally something I'm starting to understand a little bit better. So, welcome. I did not prepare a reading this time because I want to do a live love reading that kind of works with whoever shows up. We'll see what happens. A lot of what I'm going to break down and talk about is twin flames, what they are, how you tell what a twin flame is, what a soulmate is, and how they're different, because they're usually not the same thing. They're more often, and there's a little bit of debate in there, and I'll address that as well. But what is the purpose of that? Why do we even need that? What relevance would that have in our own personal growth and experience? We don't need other people. It's about us, right? It is, but there's a tool here, and using the tool successfully is something of a very, very special reward. So the goal, of course, is ultimately we find a soulmate or our twin flame and are able to, if we're able to create a union with our twin flame, and experience a kind of unconditional love that, you know, people talk about, most people don't understand. So that's the aim. That's what we're trying to do. So yeah, this is a love-oriented stream, and if that doesn't interest you, I apologize. Oh, hi, Penna. Good evening. So this is all love stuff. This is finding the next love, connecting with the next love, what the purpose of some of these loves have been. It's all love stuff tonight. I'm getting sappy. Only because I feel like I'm getting so many like messages through about this kind of stuff, and I feel like a lot of people are experiencing some shifts and changes in relationships, or like ending cycles and beginning new cycles, and I'm like, well, maybe this is a good time for that. It's spring. It's all about fertility, right? So yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about. I feel like I've had some greater understanding and connections to that lately, and confirmed earlier. I was like, I knew that was gonna happen, but it was all fine. It was good to go. So I was perfectly okay with it, and that's really what it comes down to, is like getting to that place where we're comfortable and okay with how this works. Like, why are these people important, and why do they bring such crazy energy to our lives? I don't want that energy, like, but you do, because that's where we get the growth. I'm gonna sip my coffee because I can't eat solid food anymore. Ah, see, you're already like glowing with that energy of that twin flame union. I think it's on a lot of people's plates right now. It's really interesting, and I don't feel completely foreign to it, which is weird to me, because usually I do feel very much disconnected from it. I'm like, I don't know what these people are talking about. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about that anymore. A lot of exciting stuff coming forward. But yeah, I feel differently ready than I have in the past. Ready for like whatever is next, and okay with how, whatever that means, and however that long that lasts, like, which is very different than anything I felt before. In the past, of course, you know, there's more of this like attachment, like you want to like find your forever love, and like that's it, that's all you can possibly think of. It's like, what do you mean that I have to consider that this isn't my forever love? Like, that's just gonna crush my soul. It's like, well, when you get more experienced at it and you get a better understanding of the twin flames and the soulmates, you start to understand what the purpose is. The letting go is a lot easier. And it really does make a lot more sense. And your attachment and codependency will destroy a twin flame. And I'll break down. Yeah, absolutely. Lots of work. It's lots of work. And when you're doing lots of work, you're drawing in your twin flame that is doing lots of work. You're reflecting out in your twin flame, so they're also doing work to bring that union. And the disconnect can be increased when we get off and get a little bit derailed. So yeah. But the difference is, like, the soulmate. So the soulmates are very important too, and I don't want to diminish the importance of a soulmate, but they are very different in their roles here. Now, some argue that it's really like we're all, you know, everybody's got a soulmate. How exactly did I word that? I have notes here somewhere. But it was like exactly where the way it was, the argument being, we're all one soul anyway. So your twin flame has to be a soulmate also. So that makes sense. But, you know, you could argue. It depends on how you define it. That's really what the issue is. So anyway, but the difference is, so the twin flame is going to be like your mirror. There's going to be these like insane connections, and then what doesn't connect, what isn't like mirrored, is a complement of, they like complement your characteristics, so you work together really well, and you can learn a lot from this person. Now a soulmate's a little bit different. A soulmate is just another individual soul that you have this intense, deep connection with. We can have lots of soulmates. They can be all over the place. They can be in all forms. They can take all different shapes. They can be platonic. They can be romantic for periods of time. Sometimes forever, even. Sometimes that's really just what works for you. They can even be a pet. Soulmates are kind of cut from the same cloth as you. You have a really deep familiarity with them, and you feel really close, but you know you aren't the same soul, right? But their purpose here. Oh, hello, Lou. So their purpose here is to help you, bring you closer and closer to your truest, authentic self. The soulmate helps you be the most authentic you, and you are perfectly comfortable being you with that person, and they are a part of your growth in many, many different ways. You've contracted to be together throughout lives. In whatever way that falls into place in this life, it's going to be different each time. And sometimes it might be the same. It doesn't always mean the idea of romantic love, though. Sometimes it's very platonic, and in fact, most of us have at least one platonic soulmate. That's like your best friend. Now, how can you tell? Like, what's the difference? No, you know, both are like intuitively, you know that you're brought together for a reason. You meet somebody and you just know that there's a connection there. You don't know what it is, you don't know what it means, you just know there's something. You're just drawn to this person for something, and over time it develops to the point where you start to really feel like, okay, this person actually does have a significant place in my life. I don't know how or what exactly that's going to look like, but here it is. Both of them, you're going to feel initially kind of perplexed as to how quickly there is a connection there. It was just insanely quick. It's very magnetic, especially in the early stages. But with a twin flame, that magnetic energy can almost be chaotic. It can be so much. It can be a little bit dramatic. It can cause a little confusion. In fact, you can scare your twin flame off right off the rip, because you could just be button heads before you even get started. It's happened, I'm quite sure, to many people. That doesn't mean that they're done. They always come back. If it's a twin flame, they come back. But the idea being that, we're going to try to work on this so you don't chase them away. So yeah, they're extremely, twin flame is loving and transformational, but there's a lot of turbulence there, and there's a lot of work involved. The soulmate is just kind of natural, easy connection. There's challenges. They want you to be your best self, but it's not at the same kind of intensity that you're going to get with a twin flame at all. It's because you don't reflect in each other the way that a twin flame will. The twin flame, you will feel the same things that they feel, and you can't get away from it. The twin flame, there's going to be just like a relentless challenge. It's this power struggle. It's going to be a power struggle to maintain control and balance in your own life that turns into and reflects outward, projects onto each other, into control issues with each other. That's the initial stages. That's not how it lasts forever. It's just something that has to be worked on. And so part of course, the twin flame work is to come together and break down the ego and desire for control. Like being okay with not being in control about the whole situation at large, about this other person's state of mind and where they're at right now and what they're dealing with. Twin flames are more likely to be physically separated. If you find it really easy to be around this person and there's no challenge at all, like no conflict, no separation, push and pull, it's more likely a soulmate. Because twin flames are reflecting off each other in order to get themselves to the point where they can experience and welcome that union, which means that you're facing some of the hardest things that you would ever have to face in yourself, and it requires both parties doing that work. So you're often not going to be together, and you're not going to connect with a twin flame. Like, not everybody even has a twin flame. This is a very rare connection. So when people talk so often, like they just casually about twin flames, it kind of irks me, because I'm like, we all have many, 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 many soulmates, but not all of us work in this particular life. Like, you might come back in your next life and understand what a twin flame is, but it doesn't necessarily mean in this life that you're going to, or in every life that you will. That's just a certain type of lesson that people learn, and we all have different lessons and different pathways. So it's not like a thing that you should be like, well, where's my twin flame? Like, maybe that's not necessarily that particular life journey here for you. Maybe your path here involves several soulmates that instead complete you in that way. Well, I don't want to use that term. We don't use complete me. Soulmates are unique and reinforcing. Twin flames are complementary, and they're whole, but they're a reflection of the other. The soulmates are unique and not necessarily personally reflecting, just very much connected. So that's the main difference. So yeah, the twin flame is gonna have, if they're out of balance, if they're out of whack, they're not gonna merge harmoniously at all. Which also means that until they're able to find that equilibrium and learn what that balance is, and learn how to be patient and release expectations, it's unlikely that you would ever be able to match with a twin flame. You have better statistics. I guess we're gonna add statistics in here. Yeah, the soulmates, yes, they are the other part of you. A twin flame is the reflection of your soul. So it's like the opposite, equal and opposite reaction of your soul. and reflection of your soul. So they are a part of you, whereas a soulmate is their own separate soul. Um, all of which are complete in themselves. You don't need your twin flame to be complete, but your twin flame is a reflection of, and that is a tool in doing that self-work, which is a different type of work and a higher work than one does in the regular course of life with their soulmates. It's just a specific kind of love that you're experiencing and working towards. So it's like pushing beyond, because we can experience like the most amazing lives with our soulmates. Like, that is not diminishing in any way. Soulmates are amazing, and you have the opportunity for many of them, so that's really good, right? Like, that one doesn't work, I'm gonna find my next soulmate, no big deal. I'm gonna have lots of soulmates. A twin flame is like, that's that one that you just can't give up on, and you can't figure it out, and it's driving you insane, and you don't know why. There's just this, you just feel that there's something more out there than what you've been experiencing. Certain people have that particular drive, and if it's not you, that's okay, because a soulmate is amazing, and you should be grateful for all of them, whether they're friend or romantic, whatever. But our twin flames are here to challenge us. Now, twin flames are typically romantic, but not always. They can be platonic, and it's perfectly okay whichever way they come in. And yeah, so this whole like the complementary half of the soul thing, that comes from a split in the soul. Not everybody has experienced that split, at least for this lifetime. What the split feels like, a deep wound, deep traumas, where the individual has experienced such extreme pain, whether in this life or before it, that there has to be some opportunity for balance to be achieved. And the only way for that balance to be achieved, for that soul to be healed, is to heal along with their twin flame so it can be united. So the twin flame union is the result of having suffered greatly. Those two individuals are coming together to be the whole again, to learn what whole is again, to heal, so that they are learning and completing those lessons, and then they can continue on. They don't always last forever. Twin flames do not last forever. Neither do soulmates, but like, the twin flame, there's this draw to them. Whenever you get to a point where it's time for you to level up, you're going to have a certain draw to them, because they're going to know you better than anyone else. And it's going to irritate you for the rest of your life. Once you identify a twin flame, like, it's so annoying sometimes. So annoying. The other issue with twin flames that I think it's important to bring up is that twin flames can be toxic. That can be bad. Why? Because if you're inexplicably drawn to someone who is mirroring your issues, it's gonna get inflammatory real quick. Your unhealthy habits, your own imbalances, doubled, reflected back at you. Oh my God, it turns into codependency real quick. And we're gonna have a tendency to give way too much. It's gonna be very lenient, and we're gonna tolerate a lot of crap if we are not aware of the work that is involved with a twin flame union. A lot of people meet their twin flame and then destroy it very quickly, and then move on in their life. And down the road, they've got that person in their head again, and they go, man, I really screwed that up. I've also had somebody bring up the question, well, what if that was my twin flame and I screwed it up, and then down the road I meet somebody else and I have that same feelings? Well, one of them wasn't your twin flame then. One of them was a soulmate. Yeah, it actually is the shadow that's reflected. Like, they're literally they're reflecting all of your insecurities, all your fears. Like, all of that's going to come back at you. That's why it's so dramatic and intense. And you almost like, a lot of times people will like argue with these people a lot. You'll have a lot of conflict and tension, but you won't understand why you're just drawn into the freaking arguments with, why do I care so much about this person and what this person thinks? And you just can't let go of it. Well, then you better learn how to talk without fighting. So yeah, very intense soul connection, but it's a mirror soul. It's the other half. There's usually an intense sense of attraction in some way. It's not physical though. It's not something that you just see the person and go, that's the person. By their appearance, it's a feel. I don't know why I'm drawn to this person, but I am. There is a certain recognition that occurs on a deeper level, and there is this longing to know them better or to be close to them, and you don't understand it at all. It's just eating away at you, that you just want to know them, you want to talk to them, and this can be self-destructive. This is where that codependency can like start off. So you're immediately immediately projecting shadows out. But the bond is just undeniable. It's almost like you've known them before. You feel like you've known them longer than you have. That's one of the biggest first things that people know about the twin flame, is it, or in a soulmate as well. You feel as though you've known them forever. But the difference with the twin flame is that they know the deepest, darkest secrets because they are the reflection. These relationships are supposed to be challenging. They're supposed to be difficult. They're supposed to be challenging. They're supposed to be healing you so that you understand love and you get to experience love, because you've gone through a lot of bullshit and now you're going to get that. It doesn't mean that nobody experiences love or that you have to have a soulmate to experience love. It's different. This is a special kind, a unique kind of love that somebody that's been ripped apart gets the opportunity to heal themselves. And that work is important work. And everybody at some point gets the opportunity to do that in some way. It's just, this is a specific case and a specific way that this occurs for specific people in specific lifetimes. So we can't call everybody doesn't have a twin flame. We're not just throwing around twin flame. Soulmate is different though. You can call lots of people your soulmates. Your twin flame is specifically a reflection of your deepest insecurities. So that's like, but the point of this is because this person, because you reflect these back into each other, if you're able to recognize that, you're able to help each other overcome them. When you start recognizing these things in this other person and you reach that level of awareness, that's when you're able to start actually making these big changes. So they're going to be equally affected by you. Are you making effort to work on yourself? Then they're going to be making effort to work on themselves. You're just like, whatever it is, what it is, well, that's what you're going to get from them. You're not out there trying to be a person that's drawing in that energy. Neither are they. You haven't even met each other yet. You already gave up. They're affected by you. So a lot of people kind of like, have that idea of the twin flame as being like it completes you. But the reality of this is that the idea is that your twin flame helps you be more complete on your own. And that's why sometimes it ends in a good way. It's because you've accomplished that and you're just ready to move on and like, what's next? They'll still be there in your life. You might not need to continue that romantic or that connection as much after you've spent some time connecting with this person. So yeah, you're gonna have so much in common with this person in not just interests and activities, which there's usually going to be at least one uniting interest, if not several. Sometimes you're going to have several, but passions, things that you're really into, you're definitely going to share something there. But the values and the experiences, you're going to have these experiences that parallel this other person, and you're going to be able to sit and talk to this person and listen to what this person has to say, and they're going to make sense, and you're going to understand exactly what they were going through because you have a story just like it. This happened to me and it was just like this, and I know what you mean when you said that. And you can go on and on and on, story after story. You can stay up all night talking with this person. You are just drawn into them. You want to know everything about them. So sometimes these are like, they like burn up really quick because it happens way too fast. And sometimes there's so much distance and so much brokenness that there's this very slow, like waves of progression where you're slowly getting closer, and finally you reach the point where you're like really communicating. That is the goal, is the getting to that in a safe manner. So, and in any way that you're not similar to your twin flame, that you're not actually reflecting, like I said, your differences are going to complement. It's like yin yang. So, and then because of this, you're going to be so aware of how your relationship highlights your shadows. The relationship is supposed to highlight your shadows. It's for the shadow work. It's for the next level work. That's why not everybody does this, is because not everybody's at that point yet. But it's big. It's a big thing, dude. It's like it's a tool, but there's a reward that comes with it. So, but you're going to be constantly confronted by parts of yourself you don't like in your twin flame. You start to love yourself, that's for damn sure. You either start to love yourself or it's going to go bad. But there's a lot of growth that happens as a result of you looking at yourself all the time. A lot of passion in these because they're so deeply, you feel so deeply with these people. So these are like, I mean, a soulmate, you can feel deeply, you can be in love, but twin flame is like they, to pull up away from them is like they have to extract them from you. It's just, you can't let go, and you don't understand why. It can actually be really difficult to exist in these relationships for long periods of time because it makes it difficult for the other person for the people to function. And oh, hello, it's a Mermaid Slang. We're talking about the difference between the twin flame and the soulmate. A lot of people like to grab onto the idea of a twin flame and think that we're all in it. No, because those are the hard ones. We're not all doing the hard work. But yeah, it's very intense passion. Twin flames also have a tendency to walk away at least once. Where you'll definitely give up on that person at least one time and then come back. Either out of fear or anger of something, because it's very intense that you're like battling yourself. You're battling a mirror reflection of yourself in another sex. But it's almost psychic. There's almost a psychic connection between this person. So a twin flame connection is just so intense. It's like you're almost feeling and thinking what they're feeling and thinking. You can communicate with glances and feel each other's emotions and symptoms as well. A soul flame, or sorry, a soulmate, you might be able to communicate really well, but you're not necessarily going to be able to feel what they're feeling. The soulmate is definitely going to help you be authentic self, but in a twin flame relationship, you're both pushing each other to do better. It is a very mutually reflective thing because you're twin flame mirroring. And there's a higher calling that you're both being called to as well. It's much more of a divine connection. The soulmates are just as important and relevant to us living our best lives, but there is a really higher calling to the twin flame. There's a bigger purpose behind it than just the personal healing and the reunion of the soul. In fact, there's 4 main elements for it to be healing and balanced. You have to be spiritually ready. And this is the only type of relationship that actually requires you to actually be emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually ready consistently before that union will be experienced with your twin flame. It just simply isn't going to happen until you get your shit together. So That doesn't mean that you can't have relationships or you can't experience love or that you won't feel companionship, because soulmates are it. But if you're not feeling enough with that, if you feel like there's more, if you feel like you're missing something, you're looking for your twin flame. And you're going to have to do some personal work to get there. Which we will talk about some of that work that could be done later. I'll pull some cards for that. So yeah, the twin flame connection is rare and sacred because you did the work, they did the work, and you managed to get to hook up with this person, and it works. Y'all are both deserving it because you did all that work together. So it's really, but it is a specifically a journey to unravel some secrets of unconditional love. When you learn to love your twin flame, you are learning to love yourself fully and wholly, which is much bigger than the love between a soulmate, which can just exist on its own. It doesn't reflect or build off of itself. Definitely with your twin flame, you're gonna pick up on their thought patterns way easier than anybody else. You already know what they're about to say or think or what they need, and it's almost just sometimes becomes ritual that you go about certain things because you know that that's like how you show them that you're respecting their boundaries or etc. There are lots of separation periods too with a twin flame. This is a more painful kind of a love because there's a lot of growth here and healing here that you don't get to avoid. It's almost safer to be with the soulmates because the soulmates are gonna like push you to just be you, but not necessarily, to go beyond that. Whereas the twin flame, like the whole point of it is to have some bigger purpose here. So there's lots of separation periods, and it's essential to the healing that you're able to separate, heal, and then come back when you're good. And then, oh, I'm not good. You separate, work on that, come back when you're good. That takes like highest level discipline to get to that point. Most people are not even capable of getting through like a week without bickering, but let alone to go through this like these deep, intense periods of separation and pain, and then heal yourself and find forgiveness, and then come back in union with your twin. It's a big deal. But what happens is once you do have that initial like recognition that this person exists for you and that's what that experience is for, there is just aching emptiness. It is a type of loneliness that is different than anything I've ever experienced in my life. They can be like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care distance wise. It's if I'm not in a tune with them, I feel like there's nothing. And it's awful. Like, part of me is missing. And so intense that I've had to address my own personal wounds and go, why does that hurt so bad? Why are you feeling abandoned in this situation? You're not abandoned at all. Why are you so impatient in this situation? So that's like the purpose behind it, Purpose behind these relationships is to really dig deep and heal these wounds and allow you to feel whole as yourself so that you can accept your twin just as they are, as you accept yourself just as you are. And in order for them to feel complete individually, in order for them to feel complete together, they have to first feel complete individually. But it is a bond, and it is an unconditional love, and whether you're in direct contact or not, you may feel this. If you don't know who your twin flame is, but you feel a longing or a sense of incompleteness out there, there's one out there for you, and they're reflecting that as well. So you have to figure out what that feeling is and what needs to be worked on in order to start building that union. You're going to reflect to them. They're going to start working on their stuff too. You're both working on each other, or you're both working on yourselves, which reflects on your relationship and your ability to meet and then possibly materialize something really intense and good. You will not find harmony in a codependent or controlling relationship, though. And therefore, the twin flame union will never occur if you are attempting to control another person or attempting to control a relationship, or you are codependent on them and you cannot work on yourself on your own time, and legitimately do so, and not just do so like as a way to entertain yourself. Like, actually seriously analyze how you can be a better person, and as you're doing that, that other person is doing the same thing. So in order to do that, we are working on the self. You teach the self the unconditional love and acceptance of the self, of me. I love me the way I am. I know I'm not perfect, and that's okay. I can keep working on it every day, and I love the self. And so now that I can embody these things and I understand these things, I can offer them to another. That's the twin flame union. So when people casually throw around, oh, your twin flame, they're not talking about your twin flame, they're talking about your soulmates, which is awesome. Soulmates are amazing, have many of them, enjoy all of them. The twin flame, that's the big work. And you may not have one. You may not have any desire for that, but if you listen to the idea of what a twin flame is, and you just go, I want that, you have one. And you're here, it's here for you, and this is the work you're supposed to be doing. So you're only hearing this because it's what you're supposed to be working on. If you have no idea, or you're completely uninterested and you want to get the heck out of here, this might not be the time for you. And that's okay. Go love your soulmates. Have a good time. Enjoy your life. You're not missing anything. I promise. You'll come back around to this at some point, and you'll get your turn. It's like it's just right now somebody else is on this path, and you're on a different path. Lots of good on all the paths. This is a specific kind of difficult one. It's hard because you have to learn to surrender entirely, and you have to learn to let go of unrealistic expectations and demands. We have these ideas that we've been given about what relationships are like and what your love is supposed to be like, and some people really have these just completely outrageous ideas about what another person is supposed to do or be for them. And it's really like they're not supposed to do or be anything. Like, there should be no expectations at all on that relationship. It should be you doing for you. You come together for support and mutual love, not to fix me, fix you. That's not what this is about. You got to be beyond that stuff. If you're looking for somebody to fix you, you're in this ain't you yet. Not ready yet. This emotional connection is so deep that you don't even realize, like, you didn't even realize you could love somebody that much. It's so disgusting. It almost nauseates me. It does nauseate me. I think it's gross. Totally. I don't think it's gross. But it is. Like, I didn't even think I could love somebody that much. I hate it. It's scary. But it's so deep, like, you can actually communicate telepathically with somebody. Whew. That is a deep bond. When they know you're thinking about them and you know they're thinking about you, that is intense. My favorite feeling when I am connecting with my twin flame, whether you have them identified or not, okay? There are these certain moments where you'll be thinking of a characteristic or of a person in particular, and you'll kind of just receive this very warming, reassuring feeling wash over you. And it's very often accompanied with something like goosebumps, or like kind of a hair up on the back of your neck a little bit. But it's very comforting, it's very reassuring, and it comes directly with the thought or connection of this person that usually just pops up out of nowhere. That is this reassurance that it's mutual and it's authentic. It helps generate the faith that is required to surrender to that connection and allow things to just happen rather than make them happen. You want to make them happen, you want them to go according to your plan, and that's not how that works. So these little connections, these little intuitive feelings, these little telepathic bonds that are shared are this reassurance that it is okay. They are there. It's fine. You're working on things, whatever the case may be. But not that you're not experiencing this on your own. So because you might feel like, no, it's just me. I'm the only one, and I can't even tell this person this is how I feel because, like, it's so much, and this is going to terrify them, and I don't even want to say it because it's going to be really scary, and they're going to run away. So I can't even tell them, and I'm just feeling this immense love, and I didn't even think that I could do this, and it's, So when that happens, if it is mutual, if it is supposed to be, if it is a twin connection, that you get those waves of reassurance. They're very intense, and they're actually quite enjoyable to just kind of like, ooh. It's like, oh, that's nice. That keeps you going. It keeps you patient until the work has been completed, until you're, for now, and then you continue working on it throughout it to keep the connection. So you've got to work on that balance constantly. You have to know what all these unresolved issues and unhealed wounds are, and your twin flame is going to highlight them, so that's going to make you really aware of them, and then you have to address them like immediately. You can't stuff them away and wait till later. These are things that need to be worked on. If you want your twin flame connection, you're going to be doing some personal work, and they're going to reflect that. So that's how you get that union, is by actually doing your own work. It's not about, I want them to do this. It's no. It's you do this, and they will, because they're the reflection. They are going to trigger emotions for sure, especially the part where you're like building up to the union, where you're like trying to first getting aware of this person, and then sometimes first meeting this person, and then getting to know this person. They're gonna trigger stuff. You're gonna feel any time that you had ever been not acknowledged, accepted, or loved in the past, you're going to fear that. It's gonna, and anytime you think that might be happening with that person, it's gonna terrify you. So that's the trigger. That's the thing that needs to be worked on. You have to work on, number one, this is a different person. You can't take that experience to the next relationship. You have to work on why you felt abandoned and why you didn't instead pick yourself up, your whole self, and move on. Instead, you felt as though you were missing a piece of yourself. So there's a wound there that needs to be addressed. So when we feel like we're being abandoned, or we're not getting what we want, we're missing something. But yeah, they're highlighting the shadow so we can find forgiveness, and we can find understanding for the self. Learning to love yourself fearlessly and unconditionally, and then you are able to love others in that same way. And that is the bigger purpose. That is the higher purpose. The twin flame is like the ultimate, this is how you learn how to love unconditionally. And it's messy. I'm making sure I didn't miss anything in that part of my notes there. Very, very courageous, required to be very vulnerable. Especially because you feel as though you're going to be rejected or hurt in the process. Like there's something that's not going to go well because we can't trust it, because we find difficulty in that, and because we think it's going to like take the same path. And you feel like this is even more vulnerable, this is even bigger risk. So we really have to find a way to overcome that, be really, really courageous. And in doing so, you find yourself able to do so, you're going to be rewarded with that highest and purest form of love. So terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Massive risks, but not really. Just you feel like there is. Your mental connection is going to be really strong. I mentioned you'll be very intrigued and want to talk all night, kind of a thing, that electrically charged vibe. It's kind of addictive where you like want to talk too much. But there's just something magical about them. It's kind of mysterious. You just want to pay attention to like every little nuance, everything they say, the way they say it, the way they move. You just want to know all of it. Of course, I mentioned sharing the beliefs, morals, passions, goals. What's interesting too, typically the twin flame, you're going to find skills, certain skills and talents as well. These skills and talents are going to be enhanced together, and then these enhanced skills are able to accomplish a bigger mission than one could do on their own. So there's a certain level of confidence when you're able to come together with someone that complements you so well, strengthens you and supports you in that way. And it's stimulating, you know, you're genuinely interested in each other, and that's nourishing and soul satisfying. And you maintain a friendship that, because you have your own lives, you have your own things, so that when you come together, you're just reinforcing the other person rather than pulling from the other person. There's a big difference. Physical connections in twin souls are different than a soulmate or even just lust. Physical connection, it is not always immediately visual. There's just an energetic connection. You might not immediately be like sexually attracted to your twin flame, is what I'm trying to say. But there is some kind of a chemical attraction almost. It's releasing Kundalini energy, which is stored at the base of the spine. And that accelerates our spiritual growth, and it forces us to undertake that journey. So when we meet them, something gets activated, and now you can't turn it off. It's too late. You wanted it. You're on this journey now. But you will begin to look at yourself differently, and you will begin to look at your desires differently, and the way that you handled things in the past differently. It's really deep. Really deep. Yeah, them flaws and those faults, and your awareness of them, and the awareness that you are, when you're pointing out the flaws and faults in somebody else, especially when you first meet that twin flame and you're conflicting, you're like button heads, because that happens a lot. There'll be a little bit of a power flex there. That actually causes you to remain separate because you're fighting against yourself. So instead, you got to actually work on healing those wounds and breaking those cycles. Dysfunctional behavior. It's all dysfunctional. So this can take years. This is years of work. This is not immediate. Nobody's gonna like wake up and be like, oh, I just got out of the worst relationship of my life. I'm ready for that twin flame now. No, you're not. No, you're not. You got some work to do. Have fun. So, if you don't know me, I have been mostly single for about the last 15 years. Had a few small relationships. I don't find any connection to people easily, but I've learned a lot over this time, done a lot of personal work, and now seeing things a little bit differently. So this subject came up and has been coming up repeatedly in themes over the last few months. And I've been doing a little bit of reading about it, and then I was talking to somebody, and they suggested that they actually didn't know the difference between the two. Like, what's the difference between the soulmate and the twin flame? And I was like, oh, let me break it down for you. So the twin flame has some work. The soulmates are fun. Hello, Brillis and the Wanderer. Welcome. Sorry, I'm in the middle of my spiel. When I'm done with my little spiel, though, we can do some card pulls. Mostly talking about romance, platonic relationships, deep bonds, connections, and their healing roles. So we can talk about other things later too, but that's mostly what I'm talking about right now. So the twin flame, though, this is not a sexual attraction thing. It's just there's something about that energy of that person. You don't know what it is. In fact, you might not even expect to have that kind of attraction to the person because you might not see them in a sexual way. So this can be kind of wild. It can take a little bit. But when there is sexual contact between two twin flames, when that does happen, it's like primal. It's instinctive. But being attracted to them physically, like the outward stuff, that will not complete the requirements for the union that it takes to be involved with your twin flame. So a couple of stages that a twin flame relationship goes through. This is much different than a typical relationship. It would be different than a soulmate. This is going to be specifically what you would experience in a twin flame relationship. It said the hard ones. Initially, there's just a yearning. You may have just gotten out of a relationship. You may be single and just not interested in casual relationships any longer. You may have just never had an interest in it. But there's a certain yearning, and there's just this idea that there's this other part of you out there, and you're just not finding it. You just know there's more. And it starts like that. And not everybody has that feeling. So if you've had that feeling, this is about you. There's a deep longing for this flame, for this connection, for this type of connection. And you're going to be doing a lot of inner work to meet it. So if you've started doing the meeting or started the work, then these next steps are more applicable to you. The next part is the actual meeting, when you actually run into this person. And of course, it is, your whole world just gets rocked by the time when you meet them. It's just like, whoa. And there's often a desire to communicate and go back and forth. So it's kind of like the honeymoon phase, right? It's new, it's meaningful, it's positive, it's really excellent. You're like madly in love. And how long that honeymoon lasts depends on the couple and how long it takes before challenges arise, and whether or not they have prepared themselves and are ready in the relationship to handle those challenges. So the relationship itself doesn't, once you get there, doesn't mean that you're free of challenges. It's a constant process, which is the whole point. So the challenges emerge, and some of those core wounds are going to come up. You're going to find some differences. There's going to be some conflict. Now, sometimes people don't get together immediately at this point. At first, they might meet and they just be like, they're clashing too much to really get much out of it. And then eventually they start to become friends. And as they're friends, then these wounds start to rise and they start to figure out these. And as friendships, this is a reflection of what they need to be working on. And so they're going back and forth and they're working on themselves. They don't think this has anything to do with a relationship at this point. This is about them. They have decided they need to work on them, and they have no idea why. So then it gets really challenging. This is not a regular relationship. Most people, if you got to this point and you didn't have these deep feelings for this person, you would have already walked away at this point. Okay? So this is the ones where you're like, why am I stuck here? And like I said, twin flames can be toxic. So these can be the types of situations that you go, no, you really should have walked away. But sometimes the work needs to be done and they're just not doing the work. So then the tests really come. Now you're starting to really dive deep into those shadow sides. Now you're actually starting to butt heads, maybe even some silent periods. That's where you get those separation periods where you just don't even want to talk to each other. All your insecurities start rearing their ugly heads. You start questioning yourself, you start questioning them, you start questioning your friendship, you start challenging your friendship, your relationship in general. One person might even be avoiding one person. One might abandon it entirely. The other person is probably feeling pretty emotionally insecure. It gets ugly because you are reflecting all of the worst parts of yourself in this other person, and that for some reason you want to make it work, but you just don't understand why it's not working. And the issue is because you're trying to fix someone else, not you. So then we've got the chase. Because somebody walked away, right? And this push and pull turns into like this reward. It's almost like a game at that point. Where you know you could push the person and then they'll be back. Because there's a pull. And then they push you away. It's like they know that you're going to come back. And it's like the win. It's like I pushed them away. They came back. Oh, they really love me. Even though they don't admit it, they really love me. It's kind of twisted. You don't really want to play this game. Because this, every time this happens, there's a separation there. And so that separation is like actually working against what your total goal is. It might be fun at first, but that's really not how it should go. So the final 2 stages are where you start to realize that you've had your separation times, you've been in the company of each other, then you've had your separations, and you've been in the company, you've done a lot of work. You start to feel like you've done so much work through these insecurities. You've worked through some triggers, you've worked through challenges, you've done it even together a lot of the time, and able to come back to this person. And this can go on for years, but sometimes it gets to the point where you actually just get both on that level where it's like, this makes sense. Okay, this makes sense. And then you let go of the idea that you can control this relationship part. You can only control yourself. And that's the big picture. You are learning to accept yourself as you are, with all the flaws and everything. And when you do that, you are accepting this person as well. So the tension and the fighting stops, and it becomes this working together and supporting each other. Are you good? I'm good. You know, can I help you? What do you need? Okay, well, can you help me with this? This is what I need. You're able to communicate. You're able to ask clearly what you want. You're able to work through anything. Because you're constantly doing the work on yourself, you're not putting it on anyone else, and the relationship stands on its own. And it continues because those 2 people each care enough about the relationship to continue to work on themselves and be better for the relationship, rather than expecting the relationship to do the work. The relationship will not do the work for you. You do the work to experience the better relationship. The relationship only highlights the shit you need to work on. So the final stage, the coming home stage, is when you finally have surrendered and accepted that this is probably gonna be mushy and gross from here on out, and you're gonna have to keep working on yourself all the time, but that's okay, because that feels good, and you start to feel like you've actually accomplished something, and you're getting somewhere, and life feels like it's kind of beginning, sometimes even again or for the first time. It feels more balanced. When you are creating a shared meaning in life, you're going to find more empathy and understanding in the relationship, and you're able to give people the space that they need, the healing energy that they need, and work on the self as well. You are supporting each other and facilitating growth for each other, rather than expecting them to do it for you, or expecting them to do it and you not doing anything. So, twin flame versus soulmate. The twin flame is hard work and a big payoff, but it's a constant job. The soulmate are there to enhance our lives, to inspire us, to make us feel like we're not alone, to give us experiences and love and camaraderie and friendship and support, but they aren't necessarily as challenging and difficult as a twin flame connection is. A twin flame connection is brutal, and it takes a very long time, and they're going to be those people that are your best friend. I'm talking to somebody who's listening right now, because I feel like this, as soon as I started to break my notes down, I started to think about certain individuals and the people in their lives, and I go, oh, I know why this person's having so many difficulties with this connection. Oh, they need to do some work so you can make that happen. And it's not work on them, it's work on you. Work on you so they work on them, and next thing you know, you start sharing the work that you've done, and you're so proud of each other, and you're like super supportive, and it's super amazing, and then you're all of a sudden you're just like, we're good, right? Wow, this could work. Yeah, right? So that's the goal. That's where you're going for. That's the big thing right there. So it took me a whole hour to go through my notes. But there's so much to talk about with twin flames, because it's so much work. And I'm just finally like really starting to understand, because you think you're like wanting love, right? And you're like, oh, I want love. That's like, that's not how you get love, by wanting love. You get love by loving you, being love, working on the love. Why don't I love myself? Why don't I deserve love? And then working on those questions as you start. And that doesn't mean that that's the only way you get love. This is just a specific kind of relationship that's for a specific kind of building. And I think it gets twisted up and toxic sounding when you don't specify that this is not the only kind of love that one can have in their life. And that doesn't mean that you need this and you have to do all this work in order to be loved or deserve love. That's not what that means. Love exists before twin flame relationships, long before twin flame. Twin flame is like end of the road love, the big stuff. But there are much easier loving situations that we all need and deserve, and through our experiences we build up from there. Some of us just feel like there's more, there's a bigger purpose, and when we get to that feeling, that's where you're at. If you don't feel like there's more and you just need that basic, that's where you're at. That's okay. That doesn't mean that like maybe your last soul life already did that journey and you're just taking a break this soul life. I don't know. I'm not here to judge. I don't know. You know, like where you already might have did this lesson and you'd be like, these fools, look at them over here trying to be in love. They're idiots. It doesn't work like that. So we're all on different journeys, and that's just how it works journey wise. So yeah, we'll do a few I'm going to pull a few cards. I've got a specific tarot reading to do for love. Tonight's about love. I don't want to talk about anything else because I don't feel like it. So it is what it is. I'm going to draw cards and talk about growing as a human individual and increasing the love and the quality of love in your life. Because I think that there's a lot of garbage out there right now, and what we need to focus on to have a little bit of a break from reality is just, you know, let's talk about love. Let's talk about having something good going on for us right now for a minute here. I'll be back later in the week to do more draws on whatever the person needs to be. You can also contact me for a private reading, which is what I recommend. If you want a personal reading, the best way to get information from me is to get a personal reading. If you do not have the funds to do a full-priced reading, I do slide scale payments of whatever you can afford. You can go to Campsite.bio /NikiAnarchy. The link is somewhere in there. I don't know where it is. Put it up on the screen too. Actually, I'll put it in the chat. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. So all my contacts and means of reaching out to me are at this website. You can make a donation, send me your contact info. I'll do some card draws. I need a photo of your eyes and or your first name and birth date, and I will see what comes up in the cards for you. As much as I like doing live card readings when I'm doing the streams, I don't get to do as many streams as I'd like. So sometimes I want to cover certain topics, and therefore your topic might not fit. If you're, you know, in the middle of a breakup, me talking about love does not make a lot of sense to you right now. It might, but you might not be ready for that. We might need to be talking about the healing part for you. So feel free to reach out to me directly. Like I said, there is a slide scale payment. So if you can only make a donation of whatever, what have you, or if you just like to do a little bit of promotion for me and share my stream or share my website or my Facebook page or something along those lines in exchange, I'm more than happy to do that as well. But private readings for certain subjects are the best. But I'll resume doing live readings. I am going to draw some cards though. But we're going to talk about love, and we're going to do position by position. This is a twin flame draw. So the first card that we pull is going to be talking about some energy between you and your person, whoever your person might be. and what kind of significance that energy can hold. Ooh, this is interesting. We've got the Emperor here. What we're talking about with this energy between you and your twin is a kind of stabilizing energy. The Emperor, see if he's moving around. I didn't sedate him yet. Hopefully he's not doing too much. What you doing, buddy? Oh, hi, Moo. Pardon me. I will explain the Emperor card in just a minute. He's barely been moving around, so. Gonna go lay down. Hi, what do you want? You want to go outside? Hi, do you want on the bed? You want on the bed or outside go potty? Let me come back 1 second. Oops, my bad. I need a I'll be right back screen. Be right back. He needed to go potty. Okay. The Emperor. What are we reflecting? Energy between our twin flame. You're looking for stability. You're looking for a certain level of respect and dignity and understanding and compassion that allows you to be who you are authentically and feel supported and feel as though you're safe and secure and you can be who is knocking stuff over and you can be who you want to be and need to be, and that person is there for you. So that energy being reflected between you and your twin flame, if you want support and you want stability, what you should be working towards is that inner peace and that inner understanding of the self and working on being that kind of energy that you're looking for. Sometimes with the Emperor card, we're talking about a certain kind of depth of understanding of purpose. So that particular card comes to me with knowing exactly what I'm thinking of in terms of stability, but you might not know what stability means to you yet. What does stability mean to you? What is grounding to you? What kind of energy helps you feel secure? That's what you're looking for. What makes you feel safe? What kind of environment are you in that allows you to feel safe? So our purpose together in this lifetime is this next card. The purpose together. What is our purpose together? We are the Two of Swords. You're working through blockages. You're working through your fears. You're working through things that give you anxiety because you're not sure that you're going to be awesome at them, and therefore you don't want to try because you might mess up. It might be embarrassing and you don't want that. The purpose is for this individual to help you and for you to help them. Learn to overcome your fears and your blockages and learn to be courageous and bold in the times that you have the opportunity and the motivation to do so. What are you really afraid of? Is it what other people will think? And with your twin flame, you're going to come to a point where you stop caring. out that you're gonna get better with them. They're gonna show you how they do it, and you're gonna show them different things, and you're gonna build together these skills. So your entire purpose in this lifetime is to teach each other to work through fear and blockages. There's going to be an important lesson in this lifetime as well. And this lesson that we're going to experience in this lifetime together is going to be the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is the kind of momentous connection and bliss, and it's like everything that you could have asked for has fallen in exactly where you're looking for it. It all tied together in a way that you couldn't even see it. So the important lesson here, the entire purpose of all of this, is so that you get to experience that, because you've been through pain and you've been through the other stuff, and we all deserve more than that. At one of our lives at least. So this is that time in life for you. So how are we going to grow from this lesson? The High Priestess. Perfect. The High Priestess. How are we going to grow from this lesson? We're going to learn to dig real deep inside and figure out what it is that we personally need. And we're going to learn to listen to the self and trust the self. We're going to feel our instincts, and we're going to attend to our own personal needs first. And as we do that, we reflect that outward, and we match that energy with another individual who can do and support the same for us. So we're not alone in that. Our own personal High Priestess, inner High Priestess, and our own personal High Priest working together, becoming self-aware and higher awareness, utilizing each other as a tool, as a mirror. So really cool growth there, learning how to actually do the work yourself. Instrumental. So now we're going to look at what our lives are going to look like. Let me do a little shuffle here. What our lives are going to look like. Ooh. This is hitting personal. This is a little personal. Oh boy. I'm probably turning red. So yeah. What are our lives gonna look like? The Father of Swords is a protector. He is looking out for his loved ones in whatever way that he can. He's extremely supportive, and he actually would embody as close to the Emperor as you could get. So you're going to be finding yourself in a situation with these, with this Father of Swords, and he's fiercely determined to make his goals happen. It's super inspiring. And so you get to look forward to a life where you are admiring and inspired by the strength and determination and passion of this individual, while also admiring the amount of depth and energy and love that they put into things as well. Hi Jewel, I do readings on a slide scale. Private readings can be inquired about at the link I will drop. I just dropped it in there. Oh, it's in there. Some nights I will do card pulls. I'm not doing that tonight because I'm focusing on love readings tonight. But if you would like a card pull, or you have something you'd like addressed, you can reach out to me directly at the Campsite.bio /NikiAnarchy, or one of my social media, and I'll draw a few cards for you. It's slide scale, so if you can't afford to pay, you can offer some exchange of trade or promotion or a review or something for me instead. I'll do the reading anyway. If there's a smaller amount that you want to donate, those options exist as well. And yeah, usually I would do card pulls. This love reading is about twin flames versus soulmates specifically. So this is just kind of a general reading about twin flame connections and what that connection would be. You might, if you're interested in it, I probably won't be on much longer. You can come back and check out the full reading where I break down the soulmates versus the twin flames and the differences and the feelings in them. And then this reading kind of is a general reading for anyone. And then you can go from there. If you have anything specific that you want to add to your personal reading, you can communicate that to me and we'll go from there. So what the life would look like with your twin flame is stability and comfort and security. Really good stuff. So how do we strengthen the bond? How do we strengthen the bond? I'm going to get my dog up on the bed. He's wanting on the bed. I'm not going to argue with him. Give me one. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. My dog hurt his back, and he has extra needs right now. Anyway, so yeah, love readings. It depends on if I'm doing a twin flame or a soulmate, or if I'm just doing a life check-in, because sometimes that's what we're really looking for. So we're strengthening the bond. How do we strengthen the bond with our soulmates? Yeah, I just got my son. He's going to give him a sedative. Give him tonight. So how do we strengthen the bond? Oh, this is really excellent card. So our Nine of Wands. Snap it. There we go. So Nine of Wands. We have already done a tremendous amount of work on our own. And your twin flame has done the same. He's done a lot on his own, and you've done a lot on your own. And you've both done all of this work, and it gets really exhausting, and you feel like you're never going to get there. So you look back, and you see everything that you've accomplished already. And that kind of inspires you to keep going. You've got like another step or two forward. You just got to keep pushing a little bit farther. And so what strengthens the bond between you and your twin flame is when you take the time to acknowledge the work that they've done, acknowledge their growth, acknowledge the effort they put in, and continue to encourage them to just keep going a little bit longer. Look at how far you've come. You don't want to stop now. You don't want to give up now. So what strengthens your bond is being supportive and encouraging to your twin flame, by helping them see what they don't see about the work they've already done. And in doing so, you're giving them a reason to feel stronger, and they reflect that back to you. Twin flame, we're reflecting. So how do we heighten our vibration? Because now we want to match vibrations. We want to match this up. Let's try to create this union. And I love this card too. Oh, I'm getting excited about this reading. It's really resonating personally for me. So, the Three of Pentacles. How do you heighten your vibration? You work together on something. something bigger than you, something that brings other people together in a community, something that is improving the lives of others. There's something really positive about working together and accomplishing this goal, this mountain. And there's a network of people together, and this energy is what's heightening the vibration between you and your twin flame right now. It's actually doing for others, being beyond the self and working as a team with other people. That right now is what's really vibing between the two of you. The two of you. The doggos are hungry. So what is your twin mirroring? So this is good. The twin is mirroring the Father of Wands energy. Father of Wands energy, he has got so much ideas. And he's about to kick off into high gear. Now he can be a little family defensive. It's nothing wrong with that. We want to make sure that we're heightening and focusing our energy on exactly what we want to be doing and accomplishing and not what we don't. So what is he mirroring? Well, if you're scatterbrained and all the things that could go wrong, that's probably what he's going to think of too. But if you're fierce and direct, the Father of Wands, and you're focusing your energy into making things happen and starting them off and kicking them off and continuing that energy, that consistent energy, that's what he's going to mirror, or they are going to mirror. So consistent actual action. And then now we're going to can you help your twin? Can you help them so that you can achieve this union? Because even though we can't really do that, that doesn't mean that we can't do something for the self that reflects to the twin to help them make their next move. You're of course helping yourself make your own next move, but we're gonna try to involve this other person so that we can find this whole reading is good. Okay. Chariot. How can you help them? They're on a journey, and so are you. You are both running your own races right now. You each have your own chariot. Now, you've had a life prior to this point, so you built your own chariot. You practice your own skills. There's no need for you all of a sudden to be obsessed over your partner's race. But if you want to help them, you're mirroring them, focusing on your own race while being supportive and encouraging on their personal race, so that you're getting that back. You're reflecting that back to each other. So in order to win our chariot, which is victory, but it's hard-won victory, it requires focus and dedication. It requires careful preparation and planning. Focus. You cannot be over here distracted. You could end up completely off course. This is so much work. But if you want to help your twin reach their higher best self, and so that you can achieve this more perfect union, whether you're improving the union or you're bringing the union to the forefront for you, you are focused on your own personal goals and journey. And as they do that, you start to recognize that you open up and you open that space, and they have that space, and it's like a magnet. But if you've got that filled with insecurities and you're not focusing that energy on something else, there's no room to add to it. You've just got a head full of insecurities and issues. So you got to clear all that stuff up in order for you to have that more perfect union with your mate, your potential connection. Let's pull a few of these ones just for fun. The butterfly spirit. This is about transformation, and it's about the very, very ugly, messy process of transformation. A lot of people have seen that, that meme where it talks about how the butterfly like the caterpillar, when it goes in the cocoon, kind of turns into a mush of goo and doesn't even know what the hell is going on. It just kind of comes out as a... It is kind of what it's like, but it's also kind of deliberate. You know, it's intentional. You don't accidentally transform yourself into a better version of yourself. Otherwise, we'd all be doing great. It's very intentional, and there is a process that the caterpillar undergoes. And it's not a big ugly mess of goo where nothing knows what's going on. There are cells in there and chemicals in there that have specific jobs and tasks, and it all has to happen in a perfect order in order for it to fall into place. And when everything's right and the situation is just perfect, then the cocoon allows the butterfly to develop, come out of the cocoon, and stretch its wings. There is a process. There is an actual direct and deliberate way that this occurs. It is not magic. It actually takes work. Hey, Week Money. So I'm not doing live readings per se tonight. I did drop the link, Campsite.bio /NikiAnarchy. I do readings on a slide scale if you'd like a private reading. If you'd like me to do some tarot card pulls and other subject matters, I will be doing them on another night. Tonight I'm just focused on love because that's what I feel like doing. That's where we're at right now. So the Nightingale Spirit is the oracle card that I'm bringing up for this twin flame reading. Love is all around. So this is bigger than the self, of course, and the push towards the higher purpose that you and your twin are mirroring for each other seems to be oriented in a greater cause where other people are involved, and you're reflecting the energy from this. There's love that's coming from that energy that you're putting into that project. And so even when you're not in touch with your twin flame, even when you're not in direct contact, you're not communicating, even if you're having some difficulties, the love that's reflecting out of that is there as a reminder of the love that exists in all places all the time. You just might not be feeling it. You might have cut yourself off from it, thinking that you can't feel it, but you really definitely can. So, and we'll do one more here. Ooh, the Chameleon Spirit's another really good one to add to this reading. I'm just kind of doing what I want tonight because it's what I feel like doing. So if it's not what you were looking for, hoping for, I apologize. But I will be back to my normal schedule later in the week. I just don't feel like it today. You know what? It's kind of like, I used to be a tattoo artist. People always used to say, you know, don't argue with your tattoo artist. Let your tattoo artist do what feels good. I think that applies to the tarot reader too. You do what the tarot reader feels best. The Chameleon Spirit is acting as if. What does that mean? It means you should stop questioning whether or not the connection that you're thinking of exists, and start pretending that it does, and start acting that it does, and therefore start preparing for the next steps in it as if it does. Like, there's no... You're not going to find out and then start at step one and work your way up to it in any kind of time manner. You need to start at step one and working up to meet it where it meets you. So in order to do that, you have to pretend, of course, it's happening. I mean, obviously. Of course I'm right. Why would I be wrong? When has my intuition been wrong? Not that it hasn't been wrong, but you know what? It was wrong, and it all turned out for the best anyway, so it really wasn't wrong. Acting as if is a certain level of confidence. I'm just going to knock all this shit up. Is a certain level of confidence that in yourself and in the universe, in the communication between both. It's already being grateful for what's coming. And already being grateful means that you're doing the work for it too. What do you have to be grateful for if you're not actually putting any effort towards it? But when you put the work in, you find the satisfaction in that, and that's where the gratitude comes from. And then you're able to start feeling, it feels a lot more real, it feels a lot more significant as we're going forward. So acting as if is going to be a big role here. Ooh, and surrendering to the sweetness. This is all, if you notice the theme, this is all about like you personally enjoying and doing the best out of your own life for bringing love to you. If you're having trouble in your love life, it is time to focus on yourself. There's nothing outside of the self. The internal love is a reflection outward. So that's what you're going to get. It's whatever you're feeling and putting out. So the whole theme here is the self. Better that you love yourself, better that you love others. It doesn't mean you don't deserve love. Don't go spreading that nonsense. I hate it when people do that. Different kinds of love. For one, more than two kinds. There's two kinds of love. It's so ridiculous. Or three, maybe. I might get lucky. Surrender to the sweetness is about leeching every possible bit of joy out of every moment, regardless of how little it may seem. But really just kind of taking the time to go, yeah, no, I'm not where I want to be, but I am enjoying the process. I'm enjoying the getting there part. I'm enjoying the step by step. I'm enjoying the mystery of it. I'm enjoying the excitement. Currently, I'm enjoying the chase. That's where I'm at right now. But there's a lot to be appreciative of, and a lot of joy to be brought to the situation. The Star Ancestors is talking about some hidden secrets and hidden wisdom. That's wanting you to look a little deeper. So if this isn't quite resonating with you, you haven't sat down and done some of the work, or maybe this isn't the path that you're on. Not every reading is going to resonate with every person that hears it. So don't expect that. And also don't be disappointed if it doesn't. Because just because you're not at this part now doesn't mean that you're not on your own equally enjoyable and wonderful journey. And that you shouldn't be looking deeper and wanting more out of that as well. So I think I'm going to probably wrap it up fairly soon. Tomorrow I'm getting my vaccine round 2. I am also doing my pre-op 2 appointment. I have not eaten food in 7 days, and I have 5 days to go. So, actually 7 days to go. So yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm here tonight. This is what I'm doing tonight. But I hope if you are interested in love or ending a cycle or about to begin a cycle, that this explanation and breakdown of the differences between the twin flames and the soulmates and the purposes of each and how we identify the difference and how we actually draw them in if we're not finding them is beneficial to you. And if there is a private reading that I can help you with, please do reach out to me for private readings. There's slide scale. Yeah, plus my dog with all his stuff. Hang on, Mooey. He went freaking bad. So now he I gotta get up. Hang on, buddy. Just a second. So that's how you can reach out to me. There's payment options there. If you cannot pay, I do slide scale. When I do slide scale, I do the reading that I want to do. I give you what I feel like the cards want me to give you. So I don't do any like specifics. But if you would like a full reading, they start at $25. And they're usually like 15 cards and like 30 minutes to 45 minutes worth of me explaining them, plus a follow-up chat and more cards pulled if we need that. So it's well worth the opportunity. It's recorded audio, and then we come back and chat and talk about it later. So because I can't possibly expect you to break down 30 to 45 minutes of explanation like that and then know what you want to ask. You're going to have questions later. I would rather you listen to it again, take a few days, then come back, chat. That's what I'm here for. I do things differently than other tarot readers. Some people like it, some people don't. That's okay. I'm not here to judge what other people do. This is just how I do things. I feel the best at them. I feel they're the most accurate this way and the most beneficial for others this way. So, thank you, Benna. Thank you, Suburban Slang, and everyone else who happened to pop in. I apologize for those who were hoping to get a reading live tonight. I will catch you next time. And if not tomorrow, if I'm feeling up to it tomorrow night, I will do it tomorrow night. If not, I will definitely be back Saturday evening. So Saturday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern time, I will do live readings on that session. So if you happen to pop into the chat, you want me to pull a card or two, that's what I will do. Then I don't have any topics. It's just going to be live, off the cuff, whatever we talk about. It's what we talk about. And then I think I'm going to start doing like a Sunday morning or afternoon reading. Because by the time Sunday evening comes around, I'm just not freaking feeling it. So I haven't been doing the Sunday night readings. And I don't want to. Because I gotta get up early on Mondays. Yeah, so much going on. So much going on. But yeah, thank you, Benna. Much love to you as well. I am gonna go spend some time with my puppy and give him a little back massage. Hopefully he feels better this evening. We're trying to keep him from running around, which is why I have to keep picking him up and moving him, because he's not supposed to jump. And this is the first time I've let him off the sedatives in a day and a half. So he's like, I want to do stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you're going back down, buddy. You're going back to sleep. Good night. Stop moving. But so yeah, I'm about to pop off. If anybody wants to check out the beginning of the stream, there's a full-on breakdown of twin flames and all that stuff. Share it with a friend. Yay, happy vaccine day. Vaccine number 2. I'm not nervous, but I just want to rest and be rested and be as nice to myself as possible. So I did very little work today, and I'm going to go to bed early. Be the best I can. But thank you both for joining, and sorry I'm cutting myself short this evening, but be back to normal. I've just got so much going on in the next 10 days. I'm just like, oh my god, so much. I need to rest. I need to rest myself. I mean, the dog, but he, you know what? He slept all night by himself for the first time without crying all night, and I was just so glad for that he was able to rest. Because he had not been sleeping. He just would wake up in the middle of the night, like screaming, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's so awful. So, okay. Anyway. Alright, yeah. And I'm drinking nothing but fluids, and I have to pee. So many fluids. God, I'm done with the Jello. I can't do it no more. I'm so fucking done with the Jello. Yeah, I'm over it. I'm gonna go take care of my dog. All right, folks. Much love to you. Hit me up, off stream if you'd like. I'll be around for a little while. I just don't feel like sitting here. I don't feel like sitting here right now. I'm just not in the mood for it. I got I moved my table. You can see the bottom of my screen. Anyway, all right. Much love. Good night. Take care.